Alright, so we're going to be working a long variation within the Bespoke collection, and we're going to be combining strength and softness. So we're going to go for much stronger feeling through the fringe. We're going to work through the layers and just achieve a really soft feeling through the hair by slicing into it. Alright, so we're working a longer variation of Bespoke, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by prepping the hair with some of our fashionista, both the Smooth and Shine and the Spritz and Shine. Just give me a nice control on the hair for sectioning and control that texture as we start to work the shape in. Alright, so we're going to start off fashionista, Smooth and Shine. So work that right through the hair. So we'll also use a little bit of the fashionista Spritz and Shine. Just get a nice even distribution of that product all the way through. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a radial part from ear to ear, and we're going to start working the back of the head shape through first with the layering pattern. Alright, so we'll actually just start off with the center part and then go into our radial part. So from that center profile part, now we're just going to divide the back of the head shape through with the radial part. Alright, so we're going to start off the back, just taking a center vertical section, and start to set the guide in for the haircut. Alright, so we're going to begin by working 90 degrees off of the crown, and just starting to slice that length in. Alright, now I don't want to take too much off of the perimeter length, so what we're going to do is we're going to work 90 degrees to about the occipital bone, and then start to work out to length. So just drop our head a bit, so we can be right off the top of the head shape. All right, so we'll round through back of the head shape and start to work out to that existing length. So as we get below the occipital bone, we'll just raise the elevation slightly so as not to take out too much weight through the perimeter. Alright, so now that we've got our guide to length, what we're going to do is we're going to work pivoting radials off the bottom of the nape. What we're going to do is we're going to work just a couple of sections and actually leave the corner of that hairline out. Alright, so we're going to begin layering through, just over directing to the center part, center section. We're going to be taking diagonal back sections that pivot from the nape, leaving that last hairline section disconnected from our layers. So again, as we're working below the occipital, just raising that elevation so we keep a bit more weight to that section. All right, so last section here, just working just underneath the round of the head, and then we'll leave all of that disconnected. right, so working that last section, bringing everything to the middle, and just following that guide. All right, so we're going to work the other side now. All right, so working into the center. Just picking up that guide, slicing through. All right, so again, last section. It's obviously creating a balance. So searching for the same density right behind the ear. So what's key with that inversion technique is making sure that we get that first section short enough so that the lengths aren't too long as we're over directing everything into the center. All right, so we've got the back length achieved now. And we're not going to focus on the perimeter detailing until we get the shape dried off. All right, so just checking balance real quick. All right, so now we're going to move into the front. So I'm just working from the parting that we've left off from the back. I'm just going to work that right into the recession area. Just getting that section established. What we'll do is we'll tuck it back and then just secure it out of the way. Just securing it so that as we're working above it, we're not picking that hair up. So we're going to begin working through the top by taking a central section. We'll get our guide from the crown and then work right forward. Get a visual guide, actually work from the front to the back. So we're going to work 90 degrees off the head shape. I know I'm going to end up with a stronger fringe, slightly shorter. So what I want to do is go ahead and clear some of that length away by rounding right through to the front. So work right off the round of the head, 90 degrees, straight up, and just work right into that existing length that we set up at the back. So now what we're going to do is take a center part. So we've got a guide on both sides. And working through all the way down into that part. You'll be over-directing everything into the center. And just following that guide. All right, so last section, again, just following through, rounding with the shape of the head. Now for the time being, we're going to keep those perimeter sections disconnected. We'll drop everything out. We'll have a look and work, probably going to end up working more visually to get those lengths blended. Alright, so we'll take the same sections on the opposite side. And just like we did at the back, still going to stand on the same side so that we're slicing in the same direction. Last section, and everything right into the center. All right, so before we work the detail on the fringe, just going to wet the hair back down just a touch. All right, so just going to take that disconnection from the hairline, just take it right out of the way, and that'll give us a section for the fringe. So the actual cut will have strength and softness combined. Now with that fringe, I do want to work it slightly wider. So just making sure that as it falls to natural fall, that the recession area is not exposed. It's going to fall right into the hairline. Okay, so we've got that section set in. And what we want to do is we want to achieve a heavier fringe with a slightly stronger line. So what we'll do is we'll work out from the head shape and just elevate just slightly. But we'll keep more weight to it by just working it right through the face. So I want to take that line and round it out just a touch. So we're going to go from the bridge of the nose and just work right out to the corner of the eye. All right, so we're going to comb that out. Give it a slight elevation. Just working with a real minimal tension. I want to allow for shrinkage, so we're working the fringe just slightly longer. And then once we get the hair dried, we can detail that a bit more. We'll work on to the other side now. All right, so what we're going to do now, the rest of the perimeter detailing is going to be done once the shape is dry. So we're going to go through, dry it off, and then have a look. Okay, so I've been power drying the hair, just getting the main moisture out. And what I want to do now is I'm just going to work through a few sections and get that hair a bit more polished off, just get it nice and smooth, working with the hardcore flat brush. All right. All right, now once we've got the shape dried off, what I'm going to do is really polish that texture off with a bit of a flat iron. All right, so we've been working with the hardcore flat iron to get that texture nice and straight, give us a bit more control when we're putting the detail to the cut. All right, so we're nearly done. Just a few more sections here. All right, so in drying through the shape, again, we've used the Fashionista Smooth and Shine and Spritz and Shine. Nice thing about that, it's got a thermal protectant on it. So just keeping that hair protected as we work with the iron through it. So we'll do just a little bit more right through the fringe, and then we'll finish off the cut. All right, so we've completed ironing the shape now. Now we're just going to go in and fine tune that fringe. Just going to set that length away. All right, so now we need to work a bit of detail to the graduation. I want to keep it disconnected from the fringe. So we'll just work from just below that. Get a little bit of that length taken off. I want to keep it really loose. You know, the idea is to have the fringe be the strongest part of the cut. Everything else have a bit more softness to it. And we've ironed it flat to control the texture so we could detail. And once we've done that, we're going to put a lot more movement to it because we've layered it, so we want to be able to see that texture that's in there. All right, so we've finished off the detail. Now we're just going to basically go in. We're going to be using a little bit of camera ready with the dryer so we get that product all the way through to create maximum separation. So just use a cool setting. We're going to polish off then with the catwalk and barber shape. Bring out a little bit more detail in that finish. All right, so what we've done with this long variation of bespoke is we've worked an inversion through the back, working from short to long, slicing those layers in. Left the hairline out all the way through the perimeter. Same thing in through the top. We did a natural inversion, but we rounded through the front of the head shape. Went back through, put the strength in the fringe, just cut that right in. The finishing products that we worked with were the catwalk, from the catwalk range. So we had the Fashionista Spritz and Shine, the Fashionista Smooth and Shine. We had that already in the hair as a foundation for prep. Once we dried the hair off, went through and ironed it with the hardcore iron. And then in finishing off after the detailing of the cut, basically went in with a little bit of camera ready and a bit of the Work It hairspray. And there you have a long variation inside of Bespoke collection.